Right. Okay, let's just stop here. You can definitely tweak this very long and never be happy, but we want to progress. So the next thing I want to do is create this um, gold, let's say. Let's call it gold. It's like actually orange paint, but let's try this. I'm saving. And we will use the same value, the same nodes or similar nodes, which connect into these 3 slots. So the fuse for gold, this is also painted, so it's not perfectly metal paint. So first what we want to do is use F0 to dial in the gold. And to do so, I will first disable, let's just first call, am I correct here? Yeah, let's rename this to be Rust base and save. And then I disable this and it should get completely black. And I also disable the diffuse. So now we have a black shader again. And this is the gold part. So for gold F0 color, let's try something to be more, we can actually pick a color just to make my life a bit easier, like this. And we bring back the normal. And now we already have this gold plated texture. And it's already pretty close. We'll just need to make it a bit less shiny. So I'm bringing back the value. And then we just change the saturation a bit and make it more yellow. And less desaturated. Yeah, I think something like this. And then we'd obviously need to work with the roughness. So this is now my gold plate. And as well for the roughness, we will use this one as the gold roughness. And we disable the first one. So we have a perfect shiny gold for now. Alpha 1. And this one is, I would say, 0.7. Okay, 0.7 is a bit much. Okay, but I think 0.75. You can see it's not really shiny, it's more dull, and this is what we have. So now we can go back to the F0 color and make this a bit more yellow again. And yeah, it's a bit more orange tinted. I don't know, I think this is more or less just if you want to eyeball it close enough, I guess, for this tutorial's sake. So this is now the gold plate. And now we have F0, it's still white, which is alright. We changed the diffuse, we changed roughness. We did not change the diffuse just yet. Because it needs to be, actually, let's bring this also a bit more on the yellow side, call this gold, and bring in the normal. So now we just subtly bring in some diffuse color. Because it's not perfect metal, there's always some diffuse contribution. So maybe 0.2 is alright. And these two are now, these top two, background and layer 2 is rust, layer 3 is the gold. And now what I need to do, or what we need to do, is create a fractal noise which breaks up this mask here. So we need to create like a detailed mask. It might be two, one big one which splits up the top from the bottom, and then a more detailed one to get these side effects. Right, to do so, first I will create a large AI noise which splits up the top and the bottom. And let's just connect this to, this needs to go here. So let's try, we'll start with the bump again, just because we will use this one more often. So this is the bump. And if I disable this, we should not get any bump for the roughness, for the rust, which is anyways not enabled as I recall correctly. Okay, so AI noise plugs into, let's say, layer 2, not the alpha, the texture, and we break this guy. and we go on isolate mode, and we make sure this is on like this, and this is called gold. All right, so I want to break up the top and bottom, so definitely I need to reduce the scale, let's say to 0.2, and bring back some contrast. So what do we have here? It might be maybe easier to use a fractal for this first. Let's check this out. Okay, so bring down the frequency. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. So let's just invert this and remap it a bit. I hope you can see what this is achieving. We're breaking up the gold areas, and by using the frequency and time, you can actually check where until adjust those values so long until you're really happy with what you're doing. Let's just try a bit more to get these areas a bit crisper. We can work with the gain, so they are broken up a bit more detailed. And you can see it's like these softer chips of paint. They definitely work quite good. So let's just try to, I don't know, do something like this. This might be now too much gold everywhere. So it's always trial and error. So breaking things up, making them smaller, bigger. All right, what do we have here? It's definitely around 0, and now we just work with the time again. Yeah, what we had just now was actually quite good, so I need to find a way to roll it back a bit. So let's try in the different time again. Yeah, this is quite good. And let's bring back the levels. All right, and now overall we need to try to reduce this effect a bit. So I will use a multiply, another fractal, duplicate this, and I will combine them. Combine float, output R in here and output R from the other one, and this one goes to layer 2. So they are currently identical. So now I will want to look at this node, lock it, and change the AL fractal 5. Oh, didn't want to do that. So we need to lock my workspaces. Right. Okay, so let's try this again. We have the multiply, it's on multiply divide, and let's just update the scene. Okay, sometimes as you can see it does not really update it properly. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. So we want a more broken up area, so we will just for now disable everything I did, revert the fractal, and now let's see what this looks like. You see it's already way better broken up. And if I now lock this again to this node, and now let's play with this. I think this is quite good, and work with the gain. Alright, so everything which is white will be the gold part, so this is quite nice. Maybe we can shift it a bit down, like this. That's exactly what I want. So I've got gold on the left, going down here on this area, and then on the whole right side is gold. Okay. And this one drives the alpha, and this is the bump map, and this is the current bump. I just need to see how everything's looking. Okay, so this is the alpha for the bump, so this needs to actually go in here. And then we will need to, as we can see, the bump for this, it's more flat. So we will just use, I think, the same one, same noises. but we just flatten it out a bit. So we can actually connect the same thing and a remap before that, AL remap float. This one goes in here, and this is called gold bump, like this, and connects to layer 2. And then we should just be able to reduce or just clamp the values a bit more. So less bumpy. Alright, so this goes in here, driven by this. And let's see if everything is correct. This is the rust layer. So rust, gold is on top, which is white. So we should see that this area is being applied from the gold with this alpha of white here with this map. So if I would change the value to be very bright, just to make it more visual, you see these brighter spots are the gold areas. So changing this back to be like, I don't know, 0.3 for dark gold for the bump. And this map here goes as well to the spec 0 color and connects to the alpha of this one. So spec 2 alpha is connected with this gold map. So now you can see that only these areas get this gold color. And we do the same for the roughness, which we currently have just a fixed value of 0.75, but still we will connect the out value to layer 2A. So only these areas get a value of pure 0.75. And what else do we need to change? Diffuse as well. Diffuse alpha is 0.2. So why is this not on 1? So this needs to just go darker then. And the alpha for this, for the diffuse, is the same one. So this one is layer 3, so 3A gets that map. And now let's see what the shaded version looks like. If I save first. Alright, so these are all my gold areas. And the rest is currently black because I disabled all those maps. So let's bring them back in. The roughness, the base, and the diffuse. Missing the bump, I think. Something is not right. This one needs to be enabled. There we go. So saving and having a look at the result. So you can already see that it is kind of working, but we don't get this nice detail in here. So we might need to work on this map a bit more. But overall, I think we're getting close. And if I increase the test resolution to be 200%, and we just render this little area, we should see a better representation. And also on here. And you see that we actually want to have a stronger bump maybe, so we get this line of corrosion. So we can try to work on the gold bump, and instead of reducing it, which we did here, let's just try to increase it. So now you actually can see that you get a stronger bump on top of the gold, which is actually a more interesting result, in my opinion. Yeah, this looks actually better if you make it a bit stronger. Alright, so the next part would be to add this, I don't know what is, this mold or things like that. So to do that, I will just try to increase the overall mold section with the fractals I have in place. So I will go to isolate selected, and I will check my maps which produce the gold area, which is essentially, let's just double check, which is this map. And what I want to do, I want to use this map and then expand it a bit and subtract it from the other one, so we get these transitions. I'll try to make sense of this if I remap this and show you. So the out value goes in here, and just as a placeholder, I plug this into layer 8, the bottom, which should not have any effect because the alpha is turned off. And if I select this and let's try update the scene and saving. And if I now remap those values to be a bit more like expand them a bit using this one, as you can see I make them a bit brighter. Compared this to this, we should definitely see a difference. And let's try if I now do something with a AL combine float again and subtract A from B. So input 1 is this guy. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think this should go on the top and this one should go at the bottom. And let's see what we get from this result if I say subtract. Okay, it might be that it's the other way around. Let's just try the other way. This one goes to 1, this one goes to 2. And now it's completely off. I think that's totally valid. That's switching from 1 to 2. Adding them to the top. Yeah, I think it was correct, it was before. So let's just try this, switching them again. And now we're subtracting those two values from another. Okay, now what I'm getting is I get a darker center areas like these, like something like this, for instance, which is actually pretty nice, and that's what I want to create. So if I expand those values a bit more, let's try 6, and then see what we get. We get even a stronger effect. So currently they are already on top of each other, so I still need to offset them a bit. And to do so, I might just use this map here as my subtract node. And then I have this and this. And now I need to create a mask from those two guys. So to do so, I will use a subtract again, AL combine float. Let's just try this, or maybe even a multiplier will work. Yeah, I think this is better. So these are my white areas, and these are my currently mold areas, which are currently not working properly. Let's see. Okay, we just need to see if this works actually. So what I think I'm of doing is reducing the F0 to be almost black, and this is almost just a pure like Lambert diffuse green shimmer or something like that. Okay, so to do that, I will first work with the F0 color, which should be really black. So all I need to do is enable this and call this mold. And just for testing, I'll disable those and have a almost completely black mold F0 reflection color. And for the diffuse, I will disable those two guys, those three guys actually, call this one mold, and bring in this green color. I just tried to grab this, make it a bit brighter maybe, more saturated, and a bit more to this side, and bring in the alpha. So if okay, it's definitely not the correct color. I would more guess it's something like this. Okay, and this is my F0 color. So if I use this mask, this one, and connect this one on top to, which one do we have? 3A. 3A, like so. You can see this is the mold map, and then we connect this one to the diffuse as well, to 4A like this. This is the diffuse color, and the roughness gets it as well. And this is 3A, and 3A is called mold as well. And the roughness for this is pretty high, 0.7, I guess. So now let's see, if we go to shaded mode, what do we have? We get definitely these blue things, which I think work pretty good. They're just too visible. They need to be more see-through. But anyways, let's bring back all the other ones and see how it looks overall. And what else do we have? Roughness is on. F0 is not yet on. Gold. Still missing a few, I think. Something did not work as expected. It works definitely on the right hand side, but here's something going on which is not correct. And I need to investigate. This is the roughness, remap, diffuse. How does the diffuse look? Oh, let's just first update full scene. Okay. Okay, that's the roughness, F0 colors. I think this has to do with this, with the F0 colors a bit. So let's just double check and make sure that it all looks as expected. So F0 color, this is the rust and this is the mold. So I guess the mold should be actually darker. I'm not sure why it is so apparent here. Did I connect it wrong? 2A. Let's just see. 2A is the gold, which is correct. And this is the other one, which goes to 3A. Mode normal. Not sure. Here's something really wrong. So if I check this, I get really dark areas on here, which is, I would expect this, but not really to make this brighter here, which is a bit odd because I think the values are going into negative values as well. Yeah, we have negative values, so that is not correct. We need to clamp those. Remap float. So one more time, we need to reconnect everything again. And this one goes to here and then to here. So this one connects to this guy. And this one connects to here. And the one at the top gets the clamp version as well. Right, this is looking better. So the remap has a built-in clamp function at the bottom, and it's clamping from 0 and 1 by default. You could also use the Maya clamp node, where you need to define min and max values, which is also fine and works as expected. So let's go back and see how everything else looks like now, and go back to shaded mode. Okay, now this is looking definitely better, and you can see these splotches of gray appearing on the top. So to control this a bit better, all we need to do now is actually, because we have this remap, we can just bring it down a bit, and overall the effect should be less intense. So you can see now we brought back all the gold in here. So if we just dial this in a bit by bit, you can see what's actually happening. And we slowly bring this mold parts onto the surface by just using this approach. So I hope you understood and have, or we can, okay, let's say we're not done yet. Let's just make it a bit more nicer and add one last feature, which is called like a dust pass on top. So what is dust? Dust is occlusion, right? In the ridges and everything. So the first thing I want to do is create an AI occlusion. AI ambient, if I can type. So this is the occlusion. And I first will connect this to the ID slots. So just that I can quickly see what I'm doing. Isolate selected like so. And this is the occlusion. And now we want to control the distance using the fog clip, maybe 3 units. And I want to invert the mask so we have a black and white mask. So everything which is white now is occluded, being occluded by itself. And the rest is occluded by other things. For dust, it makes sense that if something is close together, it mostly has some dust in the ridges and stuff. So this is already quite good. We might need to work on this, on the fall off a bit. Currently, it's really uniform. I mean the spread, I guess then. Yeah. So currently it's very uniform, and I want to control this using some value in the range from 0.53 and let's say 1. So to do that, I create an AL fractal. Let's say a noise. Maybe this makes more sense now. And I want to connect this to the spread. Let's just drag this to the spread and out. Wait, this was wrong, I guess. So this connects to the spread. There we go. And you can see that we get now a different value everywhere. So first we want to control the repetition, 2.1 maybe. Shift tab, 0.1. Bring in some octaves. Now we want to control this. So the max value is 1, which is this one. And now you can actually see it's actually a very already convincing. You see more dust here and then less there, and you get a really nice effect going on. It might not be the case in these ridges, so I'm not sure why that is happening. Is that fixed on a spread of 1? Now you still get the effect here. So it's a bit, has something to do with the materials not being snapped together properly. So anyways, I just connect this to the spread again. That's wrong again. There we go. Right, so now we have a bit more random control of the occlusion. And this will be the dust mask. And the dust is it has no metallic, so it's completely black and F0. And we have a kind of white diffuse color and a very rough spec roughness. So let's do this. So I will move this one down to F0. This is the F0 color, and F0 for dust should be black. So this is black already, and this is layer number 4, and the red goes into layer 4, 4A. Right, so now you see we get this black F0 color for the dust. And it might be possible that we need to expand our clip a bit so we get more occlusion. And we also want to control the diffuse color, which we have here. And the diffuse is on layer number 5. And diffuse, let's just for now make this blue, something like this, as the dust. And it goes to 5A. Occlusion goes to 5A in diffuse. And now this is the dust overlay. And let's see what we have for spec roughness. Okay, this is already pretty bright, but we want to have it brighter. So we will connect this to layer 4A as well. Dust, maybe let's try 0.7. And then 4A gets the occlusion red as well. So this is now very rough, and let's save and have a look at the shaded version. Right. So now you can actually already see pretty cool what this effect does if it resolves. So you can see you get this dust on top of everything, and obviously if you can also control the bump, so the bump there is a bit softer and you don't get this effect that strong. But overall, for the time I had, I think the results look pretty good. It's you can see it's the same material, and obviously you can spend way more time. I was rushing this a bit, and just to get better fractals working, and it's all about this break up, this not so perfect shaders, and all of these together create you a pretty nice render at some point. So keeping that in mind, feel free to send over your renders and let me know how you created the shader. And I'm pretty sure that if you spend more time on this, your renders will look way better than mine do. So I will post this image in the description below for you to see what my final render looked like. And I will also provide you with the reference image. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and keep watching my channel. I will try to upload material series pretty recent, pretty often. So keep that in mind and have a great day. Thank you guys for tuning in.